Aunt Rahana called out to her 16-year-old nephew, Ammar, who was busy drawing with his cousin of the same age. Ammar, dear, can you run an errand for me? Yes, Auntie. Coming! Ammar quickly put down his colors, got up, and ran toward her. It had been 3 months since Ammar's uncle had passed away. Rahana had only daughters, and she was never comfortable leaving them alone at home. Since Ammar was the youngest among them, she had kept him close to her. Auntie, give it to me. I'll bring the milk, Ammar said with a smile, taking the money and heading out of the house. Rahana then turned to her 16-year-old daughter. Maria, come here for a moment. Maria ran to her mother and sat beside her. What are these endless conversations you two have at night? Rahana asked, her gaze sharp and questioning. Maria giggled, lowering her head shyly. I'm asking you something, Maria. Answer me properly. Rahana's tone turned stern. Maria, still smiling mischievously, got up and walked out of the room. Mom, we're not just talking. We do something else too, she said before disappearing. Rahana's face darkened with worry. She watched Maria leave, unease settling in her chest. No, it can't be, she reassured herself. They're both innocent children. Ammar never even leaves the house. He's always here. What could possibly be happening? But the doubt had taken root. I'll keep an eye on them tonight, she muttered to herself. I need to see for myself what they're up to. Faiza, dear, when Ammar brings the milk, warm it up for the night, Rahana instructed her eldest daughter, before going to perform ablution for her prayers. As soon as she left, Nimra turned to Faiza, frustration written all over her face. We need to tell Mom. This has gone too far. I can't take it anymore, Faiza. Faiza sighed. They're kids, Nimra. They'll understand in time. I'll talk to them myself, but you better not say anything in front of Mom. How can I stay quiet? Nimra argued. Have you even seen the things they do? It's not normal. I told you, Nimra, Faiza replied firmly. They're children. They don't understand right from wrong yet. We'll talk to them gradually. Nimra shook her head in frustration. Faiza, they only do these things because they think we're asleep. What if we weren't home? What would they do then? Oh God, have mercy, she said, pressing her hands to her ears as if to ward off the thought. Enough, Nimra, Faiza cut her off. I'll talk to them, but I don't believe anything until I see it with my own eyes. If you say you've seen it, maybe it's true. But until I witness something myself, I won't accuse anyone. Now, instead of talking, use those hands to get dinner ready. Mom is praying, and Ammar will be back with the milk soon. Also, make juice for Mom. Nimra pouted, but said nothing. Better to use that energy in cooking instead of arguing, Faiza said with a small smile, turning off the stove and watching her sister sulk. Faiza was the eldest of the sisters and had taken charge of the household after their father's passing. Rahana was proud of her, seeing her not just as a daughter, but as the son she never had, the one who had become her pillar of support. What's cooking between you two? Rahana asked as she entered the kitchen, narrowing her eyes. I've been hearing whispers for a while now. Nothing, Mom, Faiza replied smoothly. Nimra just has a habit of talking nonsense. She shot Nimra a warning look before walking out of the kitchen. Rahana turned to Nimra with suspicion. Tell me the truth. What were you two talking about? Nothing, Mom, Nimra said quickly. Dinner is almost ready. Rahana studied her daughter's face for a moment before sighing. Maybe I really am overthinking things. Now go and wait outside, and where on earth is Ammar? Nimra muttered as she stepped out of the kitchen. Mom always wants juice right after dinner, and we're still waiting on him. Rahana frowned, watching her daughters whispering to each other, her suspicion growing stronger. What are these kids up to? She muttered to herself. I'll ask Ammar directly, and if he doesn't tell me the truth, I'll give him a few slaps to make him talk. She marched out of the kitchen, determined to get answers. Across the room, Ammar and Maria were whispering among themselves, their heads close together, while Faiza and Nimra stood at a distance, observing them with concern. Did you tell Aunt? Ammar murmured into Maria's ear. Are you crazy? Maria hissed back. Do you think I want to get beaten? And listen, if she asks you anything, don't say a word either. Just make up an excuse and get out of it. Leave that to me, Ammar smirked. I'll handle it. The only thing I know for sure is that when we do our thing at night, Nimra and Faiza are deep in sleep. Maria giggled, covering her mouth with her hand. Oh yeah, they sleep like logs. Even if we played a drum in their room, they wouldn't wake up. All right, keep your voice down. We can't afford to get caught, Ammar whispered. Let's go eat now. Faiza and Nimra are already watching us too much, and Auntie is looking at us with suspicion. Relax, Maria said with a wink. I fooled Mom so well last time she didn't even realize where I went. Keep fooling her like that, and one day someone will fool you, Ammar chuckled. You think I'm that easy to fool? Maria smirked. We'll see about that. She laughed and ran toward the dining table. Mom, come on, I'm starving, Maria called out as she sat down. Rihanna sat at the table, but her eyes remained fixed on Maria and Ammar. Ever since Ammar came back, you two have been whispering to each other nonstop, she said, her voice laced with suspicion. What is it that you talk about so much? And last night I heard noises coming from your room, Maria? It's nothing, Mom, Ammar replied quickly, looking down at his plate. We were just talking. A small smirk played on his lips. Rihanna narrowed her eyes. Listen, Ammar, she warned. You better stop this nonsense before I separate your rooms. You're still young, and that's the only reason I let you sleep in the same room as your sisters. But if this continues, you'll be sleeping alone. Ammar fell silent, lowering his head and focusing on his food. Mom, they're just kids, Faiza interjected. They're not that grown up yet for you to suspect them like this. But as soon as she said it, she realized Nimra was glaring at her, as if accusing her of telling their mother everything. Nimra, feeling Faiza's eyes on her, groaned in frustration. Don't look at me like that. I didn't say anything, she whispered back. Oh, just wait until we go to our room, Nimra, Faiza muttered under her breath. You always put ideas into Mom's head. She was fine before, praying and reading the Quran, sending prayers for Dad's soul, and now because of you, she's turning all her attention toward us. All right, I won't say anything, Nimra sighed. But I swear I didn't tell Mom anything this time. She figured it out herself. Rihanna's patience was wearing thin. Enough with the whispering, she snapped. Something is going on here, and you're all hiding it from me. Tell me the truth or I'll find out myself. She turned to Maria and Ammar. And you two, what exactly do you talk about? What noises do I hear from your room every night? Her voice was sharp, her suspicion boiling over. Faiza quickly intervened. Mom, they're just kids. They don't do anything. They just like to talk. Maybe more than usual, but that's all. Nothing else is going on. Just eat your food and I'll bring your medicine afterward. She placed a plate in front of Rihanna, hoping to distract her. Rihanna exhaled sharply but didn't press further. For now, she picked up her spoon and silently started eating. Ammar sighed in relief as he walked toward his room. We got lucky tonight, but we need to be more careful next time. Yeah, we'll be careful, Maria replied, glancing over her shoulder. Everyone's too caught up in their own lives. But I swear, Ammar, do you think Mom is on to us? What if she's already figured it out? God forbid, Maria, Ammar muttered, rolling his eyes. At least talk positively if you can't think positively. Let's just get through tonight. One last time. After this, we'll stop for good. Yeah, Maria smirked. A final promise. We'll change for real. Now hurry up. We need to get back before Faiza and Nimra wake up. Ammar nodded, pushing the door open cautiously. Inside, Faiza and Nimra lay asleep, their breathing steady. A wicked smile stretched across Maria and Ammar's faces as they slipped inside and locked the door behind them. Take it out quickly, Maria whispered. We need to leave soon. Maria reached into her bag and pulled out a knife, twirling it between her fingers. Be quiet, Maria. You'll wake them up, Ammar hissed, carefully taking out a gun. He grabbed Maria's hand, and they both sneaked out of the room. I told you, Faiza. I told you something was off, Nimra whispered, nudging her sister as soon as Ammar and Maria were out of sight. Faiza exhaled, shaking her head. Yeah, you were right, but let's not jump to conclusions yet. We'll confront them in the morning. As the night deepened, Rihanna stepped out of her room to get some water. As she placed the jug back on the table, she noticed Faiza and Nimra tiptoeing toward the door. Where are you two going so late at night? She asked, her sharp eyes watching them. The sisters froze. They hesitated for a moment, but before they could reply, Rihanna's gaze drifted toward the front door, which was slightly ajar. Suspicion gripped her heart, and she silently followed behind them. You go after Amar, and I'll follow Maria, Faiza instructed Nimra, her voice low. You two split up, Rihanna muttered under her breath as she watched from a distance. Now which way should I go? She sighed, deciding to wait in the shadows. Amar made his way to a neighboring house, creeping toward a dimly lit window. He carefully lifted the window pane, draping a white sheet over himself, the kind with eerie shapes drawn on it. He wrapped a belt around his neck and climbed inside. I told you I would come back. Do you have it or not? Amar's voice was low, thick with an exaggerated growl. The little boy in the room whimpered, already trembling in fear. Please forgive me. My mom didn't give me money. I couldn't buy the chocolate, he pleaded. Then I'll shoot you, Amar whispered menacingly, pulling out the gun. Ha ha ha, the child's eyes widened in horror as he let out a scream. Before he could react further, Amar turned and bolted, running as fast as he could. Nimra, who had been hiding nearby, was frozen in shock at what she had just witnessed. The child's terrified cries snapped her out of her daze, and without thinking, she sprinted after Amar. Hearing someone running behind him, Amar panicked. He thought it was some ghostly figure chasing him. His own screams joined the mix as he ran blindly through the street. Meanwhile, Maria made her way to another neighbor's house. She peered inside, spotting their daughter in bed. Smirking, she reached for the window and climbed in, draping the same ghostly sheet over herself. She tightened a collar around her neck and waist, adding to the eerie appearance. Foolish girl, Maria growled, her voice dark and threatening. Where are my things? Give them to me or I'll cut you into pieces. The young girl was already frightened beyond words. She quickly grabbed some items and pushed them toward Maria. Maria snatched them, stepping closer to the girl. She lifted her knife in the air. Before Maria could strike the little girl with the knife, a loud scream echoed through the night. Faiza's voice rang through the air, piercing the silence like a warning bell. Maria gasped, her grip on the knife loosening as fear overtook her. The little girl screamed as well, her terrified cries blending with Maria's as she bolted out of the room. Faiza was already running ahead, and Maria, without a second thought, chased after her, their terrified shrieks filling the empty streets. Back at home, Rihanna sat anxiously, her heart pounding as she heard the commotion from both directions. What is happening? She whispered, standing frozen for a moment. She turned left, then right, unsure of where to go. Then she saw them, her children running at full speed, their faces pale with terror. But what made her blood run cold was what she saw behind them. Something strange and unrecognizable, was following them, moving in the shadows. A scream tore from Rihanna's throat as she too turned and bolted toward the house. Oh God, have mercy! Who is after my children? Why did they even go outside at this hour? She wailed, fumbling with the door. Come inside! Hurry! Faiza and Nimra reached the door first. Without wasting a second, they shoved Amar and Maria inside before stepping in themselves. Rihanna's screams only grew louder at their reckless actions. Are you insane? She shrieked. Who did you just bring inside the house? Get them out! Get them out now! Mom, stop yelling, Faiza said, trying to catch her breath. Before the neighbors find out, just listen to me. She turned, grabbed the white sheets covering Maria and Amar's heads, and yanked them off. Rihanna gasped, staring at their guilty faces. Her grip loosened on the slipper in her hand, and she tossed it aside, placing both hands on her hips as she glared at them with pure rage. You little devils, she hissed. Maria and Amar stood still, heads hung low, not daring to look up. Put the slipper down, Mom, Faiza said, stifling a smile. And Nimra, fix your hair. You look like you've seen a ghost. Nimra stood frozen, her eyes and mouth wide open in sheer disbelief. I had no idea they were doing something this crazy. If I had known, I'd never have followed them. Mom, these two have ruined us. We won't be able to show our faces to anyone. She threw down her slippers and ran toward her mother, wrapping her arms around her. Oh, Mom, they've disgraced us. What will we tell people? She sobbed. Rihanna pulled Nimra away. Why are you crying like your husband just died? The ones who need to be punished tonight are these two. She turned toward Amar and Maria, her glare burning into them. Mom, let me at least talk to them first, Faiza intervened. Don't raise your blood pressure. Just sit down. She turned to Amar and Maria, her arms crossed. Now tell me, what was all this nonsense? Amar scoffed. Aren't you going to ask what they did to us first? If it were just tonight, Amar, I'd let it go. But Faiza tells me you two sneak out every night. So explain yourselves. But they bully us all the time at school, Amar snapped. Son, just because someone wrongs you doesn't mean you do the same in return, Faiza said, her voice firm. You have to set an example, not lower yourself to their level. Now tell me, what did they do to you that made you act like this? Amar clenched his fists. We had a test and this kid cheated. But guess who got blamed? Me. And then he stole my lunch every single day. And when I tried to stop him, he laughed in my face. So tell me, how was I supposed to let that go? Maria stepped forward, her face burning with frustration. And do you know what happened to me? The drawing you helped me make. Zarnish stole it, showed it to the teacher, and claimed she made it. She got full marks, and I got 0. And this isn't the first time. She takes everything from me, my geometry set, my colors, my pencils. She knows I don't have a dad to buy me new things. She knows I won't complain. So she keeps stealing from me. Maria's voice cracked as she finished. And you expect me to just accept it? She whispered. Silence filled the room. Faiza inhaled deeply. She looked at her younger siblings, the pain in their eyes, the helplessness they had felt. She sighed. Maria, Amar, she said softly, you should have told us. The first thing you need to understand is that our father is always with us, Faiza said firmly, looking at Maria and Amar. Just because you can't see him doesn't mean he's not there. If you try to feel his presence, you'll realize he's always around. She took a deep breath before continuing. And second, just because someone does wrong doesn't mean you should do the same in return. But why not? Nimra interrupted, rubbing her hands together mischievously. I think they did the right thing. In fact, I say we should do it again, but this time, make it bigger. And Maria, she added with a smirk, why are you demanding little things like chocolates? If we're going to do this, we should go for something big. Enough, Faiza snapped. None of you are doing anything. If I hear even a single complaint again, Amar, I'll send you straight back home. Then you can sit there alone and be bored for as long as you want. She turned and stormed off toward her room, slamming the door behind her. Ignore her, Nimra scoffed. She always acts like this. Come here, let's plan for tomorrow. Do it in your own rooms, Rehana's voice interrupted as she shoved Nimra aside. Go make your ridiculous plans somewhere else. It's almost time for tahajjud. Maria crossed her arms. But Mom, we're just kids. Who else are we supposed to scare? She asked, putting on her best innocent expression. You're right. You are kids, and that's exactly why you shouldn't be doing this, Rehana snapped. No one acts like this. Grow up already, Amar groaned. Fine, I'm out. Faiza already threatened me, and I'm not taking any risks. I am not going back home alone. Maria turned to him, frowning. Amar, we promised we'd stop after last night. You're backing out already? Nimra leaned closer, her voice dropping to a whisper. If you don't help us, Amar, I swear I'll go straight to those neighbors and tell them the real story. And Maria, I'll make sure your name is never cleared. Oh, and let's not forget what Uncle will do to you once he finds out. Amar's face paled. Okay. Just tell me what to do. I don't want to go back home. That's more like it, Nimra grinned. Don't get too emotional. Your sister is here. She'll handle everything. Just wait for tomorrow. We're not doing it at night this time. This time we strike in broad daylight. She grabbed both of them by the hands, leading them toward the room. The next morning, as soon as Faiza left for work, Nimra dragged Amar and Maria outside. They carried dozens of colorful balloons filled with paint as they sneaked onto the rooftop of an abandoned house a little farther from theirs. At this hour, most of the neighborhood was quiet. A few children played in the street, but no one paid attention to them. It was the perfect setup. All right, Nimra instructed. Here's the plan. I'll lure them outside, and once they're out, you do exactly what I told you last night. We're going to get money out of them one way or another. And when I give the signal, Maria, you throw the red paint at me. Then I'll run through the back gate and meet you here. Amar and Maria nodded. Nimra smirked, straightened her clothes, and walked toward the house of their unsuspecting targets, Zaman and Zarnish. She knocked on the door, putting on her sweetest smile when their mother answered. "Peace be upon you, Auntie," she greeted politely. "I was hoping to speak to Zaman and Zarnish. You see, Amar and Maria are struggling with their homework, and since your kids are so smart, they thought maybe they could come over and help us out for a little while. We'd really appreciate it." The woman beamed at Nimra's praise. "Oh, how sweet. Of course, let me get them for you." She disappeared into the house. A few moments later, Zaman and Zarnish stepped outside, completely unaware of what awaited them. Nimra smiled. "Let the fun begin." Nimra walked ahead confidently, her plan unfolding smoothly, when suddenly a deep, eerie voice echoed through the air. "Ha ha 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 ha! What did I tell you to? You didn't bring me my belongings." Amar boomed in a thick, ghostly voice, making his presence known. Zaman and Zarnish gasped in fear and instinctively hid behind Nimra, but she stood her ground. "Who are you, and what belongings are you talking about?" she asked, a hint of annoyance in her voice. The voice laughed again. "Who are you to interfere, girl? This is between me and them. Step aside or it won't end well for you." "Listen, I don't get scared by threats. Show yourself if you dare." Nimra pushed Zaman and Zarnish behind her, stepping forward defiantly. Before she could say more, something red splattered onto her face, drenching her entirely. The impact knocked her off her feet. Nimra fell to the ground, screaming, then scrambled back up, sobbing and wailing hysterically. "Ah, ghost! Someone save me! I'll give you everything from my house! Just don't hurt me!" she cried, bolting toward her home in sheer panic. Zaman and Zarnish, watching her flee, turned back toward the mysterious voice. "Listen, ghost sir, we'll bring whatever you want. Just tell us what it is, and we won't disobey you," Zaman pleaded, his voice shaking. The deep voice responded, "Oh, so you two will go together? No! One of you stays and the other goes. And remember, if you tell anyone, I will suck the life out of the one left behind. Ha 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 ha." No, we won't tell anyone. Just please don't harm my sister," Zaman sobbed. "I'll go right now and bring what you want." The ghost's voice darkened. "We don't just want your belongings now. We want something else." At that moment, Nimra returned, her voice still in a deep tone. "Tell us, ghost sir," Zaman whimpered, his hands trembling. "Your mother's necklace, the one she wore at the wedding. Your father's expensive watch. And 50,000 rupees, Nimra demanded. "If you don't bring these, I will come for you in the dead of night." Zarnish's face twisted in fear. "Isn't this too much? That necklace and watch are valuable, and 50,000 is a lot of money," Maria interjected, whispering to Nimra. "This is going too far. They won't be able to get that much." Nimra's eyes darkened. "Do you remember how their mother humiliated ours that day? Mocking her for not having a necklace? And their father, rubbing it in that if we had a father, we'd have nice things too? I'll teach them a lesson today." She turned toward Zarnish, her tone mocking. "And you, little girl, I hear you like to steal from classmates." The girl shuddered. "Ghost sir, I promise I won't do it again. I'll return everything I took. Please forgive me." Maria smirked. "And what about the marks you got from cheating? Will you return those too?" Before Maria could say more, Amar clapped a hand over her mouth and shot her a glare. Nimra nearly smacked her forehead in frustration. Zarnish froze. "Wait, that voice! That sounds like Maria!" Nimra snarled, lowering her voice further. "How dare you question me? Of course it sounds like Maria because she was the one who told me about your theft. You better apologize to her tomorrow, or I will come for you at night." Zarnish fell to her knees, weeping. "I swear I'll apologize. Just don't come for me." A few minutes later, Zaman returned, carrying a small bag filled with the requested items. "Here, take everything. Just leave us alone," he cried, placing the bag on the ground. "You think I'm a fool?" Nimra growled. "Why would I reveal myself to you? If I step out, I'll devour you both." She let out another deep, eerie laugh, sending the two siblings screaming as they fled. As soon as they were gone, Amar and Maria quickly checked the street before grabbing the bag and dashing back to the abandoned house. Nimra grabbed them by the wrists. We need to get out of here, now! They might tell their parents. But it was already too late. The street was in an uproar. Zaman and Zarnish had run straight home and spilled everything to their parents. Their father had alerted the neighbors, and now a crowd was moving toward the empty house. Realizing the danger, Nimra, Maria, and Amar hurriedly fled, slipping away before anyone could find them. You two, go change quickly. I'll do the same before anyone comes knocking on our door, Nimra ordered as she grabbed the bag of stolen goods and hurried to her room. And listen, not a word about this to Mom or Faiza API. If they find out, we'll be in serious trouble. Those people deserve this. Maybe now they'll understand how it feels to mock and humiliate others. If they want to flaunt their wealth, they should do it in front of those who actually care. She disappeared into her room, leaving Maria and Amar standing in the hallway. Maria shivered. Amar, my hands are shaking. What if Faiza API finds out? What will happen then? She whispered nervously. Amar rolled his eyes. Maria, just keep your mouth shut. Nobody is going to find out. Nimra API knows how to handle things. Now let's go outside and see the commotion. This is too good to miss. He grabbed Maria's hand, pulling her toward the rooftop. Meanwhile, Rahana stepped out of the house, only to find her neighbor sobbing uncontrollably. The woman clutched her chest, wailing about her stolen necklace, while simultaneously scolding her children. She kept slapping them, blaming them for being careless. Rahana watched the scene with indifference. These were the same neighbors who had never once treated her as part of the community. Ever since her husband had passed, they had distanced themselves completely. She was an outcast in their eyes. With a sigh, she turned away and went back inside, choosing instead to seek peace in her prayers. Up on the rooftop, Amar and Maria stifled their laughter as they watched the chaos unfold below. A short while later, Nimra joined them. She leaned over the edge, smirking at the sight of their crying neighbors. Always remember one thing, she said, her voice filled with satisfaction. Only do this to people who truly deserve it. And when you do, make sure it's so impactful that they never dare to repeat their mistakes. Amar and Maria burst into laughter, covering their mouths to muffle the sound. Wow, API, that was amazing. We taught them such a good lesson. Serves them right, Amar said excitedly. Now they won't dare mess with us again. Just please don't tell Faiza API, okay? Nimra scoffed. Don't worry, I've got this under control. Just keep your mouth shut, and when Faiza API comes home in the evening, not a word about this. I'll make sure Mom doesn't bring it up either. She glanced one last time at the chaos in the street before turning back. All right, let's go. We need to act normal. We'll finish cooking before Faiza gets home, she said, leading them down the stairs. The three of them entered the kitchen, moving as if nothing had happened, their secret buried deep within them.